registration certificate. Please find enclosed your trademark registration certificate for your trademark detailed above. Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking yet another video, and welcome if you're new. My name is Taddy G, and this channel is all about me taking you guys along for the journey with me as I build this clothing brand. If you're new here, please guys consider subscribing. I upload videos twice weekly and I'm actually relatively consistent, so please consider subscribing. So I have a business mentor, and when my mentor first came across my brand and its name, the first thing he said to me was, make sure you get that name and that logo trademarked. And so I did, and I did it successfully by myself. No legal experience, no experience in trademarking whatsoever. I just went on the Gov website and I did it myself. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I did that, the process and all that kind of jazz. So let's get into it. So I trademarked my brand name and its logo using the Gov website. There's a whole host of things on that website. It's a massive website, and on there as well you can trademark and protect your intellectual property. And it was a relatively simple process that I feel like anyone could do. And for those of you that may not know what trademarking is, it's basically a process that you can do in order to protect your intellectual property. So you can protect the name of your brand, you can protect logos, you can protect certain kinds of patterns, that sort of thing. So that's what trademarking is as a whole. It cost me £170 to do at the time, which is pretty expensive, especially when you're starting out, but it's worth it in my opinion, but I'm going to touch on that later. So the first thing I did when I wanted to actually trademark my brand name is I went onto the Gov website and I searched to see whether there was any brands or companies out there that had a similar name, especially in a similar class to the one that I was about to trademark in. So on the Gov website, you can actually see a whole database of all the different names and logos that have been registered for a trademark in the UK or have been attempted to be registered. So when I made my search, I searched over all the classes. And a class is basically a description or scope of the goods or services that you're looking to trademark. So for example, class 25 is clothing. So clothing, headwear and footwear. So when I did search over all the classes, one trademark did actually come up. And it did rattle me a little bit because I didn't understand why it came up, because it didn't have anything similar to anything that I wanted to do. And it was under the class of fitness and body cellulite and fitness gym or something along those lines, and the company was actually based in France. So this did rattle me a bit because I was thinking, oh my gosh, why has this come up? Is the name similar? I didn't quite understand, but still I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a bit more research and look into actually trademarking my brand name anyway, despite the fact that something did actually come up. The next thing I did was I got a little bit nosy. So obviously I'm aware of a lot of different brands, especially small brands, from Instagram, from doing pop-ups and stuff like that. And I actually went on there and I researched all those small brands to see whether they had actually trademarked their brand logo, their brand logo or their brand name. And quite a few that I knew came up and they had registered and all was good. And I was like, oh my gosh, so this is actually a thing that people do. I thought I was going in there just being, you get what I mean? Not knowing that this is actually a thing that most brands do. But what then triggered my next line of research is when I researched one particular brand. They had registered for a trademark, but he had been rejected. And I didn't even know things like that could happen. And I didn't know that on the database, you will be able to see what trademarks have been rejected, what trademarks have been submitted and withdrawn. All of it stays on this public database. So when I saw that that particular brand had been rejected, it sparked me to do a bit more research into why trademarks get rejected, because I was like, I don't want to spend £170 for my trademark to be rejected, and I know that that £170 is non-refundable. So that's the price of the application. Once you make that application, that money is gone. It's gone. I also wanted to make sure that what I was trademarking wasn't going to potentially commit any of these offenses that might not let it qualify for trademarking. So upon my research, I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that may potentially get a trademark rejected. So obviously the bait one would be if your trademark is too similar to another thing that's trademarked. So that's the bait one. Obviously you can't trademark something that's already been trademarked. You can't trademark something that isn't distinctive. So it doesn't have a distinctive word, it doesn't have have a distinctive logo. But I feel like this is a little bit ambiguous, because what is distinctive? So that is another reason why your trademark could get rejected. And also, you can't trademark something that would be in the best interest of the public to be able to use. And I'm guessing this would be something along the lines of like, you couldn't trademark clothing, for example, because a lot of clothing brands call their clothing brand like the name of their brand and then clothing. So then if you trademark clothing, it means those people can't use clothing. I believe that's what they mean by you can't trademark things that are in the best interest of the public to be able to use. And also, you can't trademark things that are too generic. Again, really ambiguous, but that's one of the things that came up when I done my research. After I carried out that research, I was pretty confident that my brand name and logo didn't commit any of these offenses. So I did decide to proceed and go on. So I know for a fact that if you're looking to trademark anything, make sure you carry out as much research as possible, especially if you're looking to do it yourself. So once I was happy and I felt like I had enough information, I went ahead and processed my application to register the name of my brand and 2 logos, and I registered it under 2 classes. So obviously the clothing class, and I can't actually remember the other class I registered it under, but you know, it made sense to me why I registered it under another class as well. So I completed the application in August of 2018, and typically it takes about 4 months or 3 to 4 months for them to review your application, and in this time people can come along and like contest it. So after going through that entire process, my trademark was, and the correct term is filed? Registered? It was put on the register in November of 2018. So that was approximately 3 months. So it took about 3 months for my trademark to be accepted, and I've got this like thick like letter with all the classes, well, not all the classes, but all the things that are underneath the classes that I had registered for. Registration certificate. Please find enclosed your trademark registration certificate for your trademark detailed above. And this is basically all the things that my logo is trademarked under. So it's just pages and pages of words. Advertising purposes, distribution of samples for publicity purposes, document copying tasks, document preparation, beach footwear, beach hats, loads of things basically. So my name, my logo is protected. If anybody was to try and steal the name, like, they would have a problem. People need permission to use it. So I just wanted to quickly talk to you guys about the actual process itself. So like I mentioned before, it costs £170, and all you would need is basically whatever it is that you want to register. So should it be the name, the logo, artwork, whatever it may be. And also you need to know the class that you want to register it in. And I feel like that's the part that you need to actually do the most research. You need to research all the different classes that you want to register that name or that logo under, and each additional class costs an additional £50. All the information is on the Gov website. I was looking at it yesterday to see if anything had changed before I started filming this video. They do, however, have the option for you to make the application and then have it checked. This is called Start Right. So basically you pay £100, you do the application, and then they review it and get back to you to see whether you've broken any rules or anything. Obviously that £100 is non-refundable, and it still costs an additional £50 for the additional classes, but at least you'll know whether you need to correct anything. And if there's anything that you do need to correct, that's when you can possibly like bring in some legal assistance to help you correct any mistakes that you might have made. I guess that's why they do it. I don't know, but I didn't go down that route. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe I wanted to save myself a young £30 being the cheap that I am. But that is another option, especially if you're a little bit like frightened. You have to then pay the additional £100 to then process the application further. Like I said, more information in the links below. So just to be clear, because I feel like I didn't explain that properly, the Start Right allows you to pay £100 upfront, then you receive a report to see whether you follow the rules, whether you've broken any rules, and then if you want to proceed with your application, you pay the remaining £100 to then process the application like normal. The application process is relatively simple. It's just basically like clicking, answering questions, uploading your files, that sort of thing. I feel like it's simple. Like, I managed to do it myself. But a couple of things that I will say that are super important if you're gonna do it yourself. Please, I did mention this before, but make sure you research on what classes that you need to be under or that you want to be under, and be thinking towards the future. Maybe your brand is a clothing brand right now, but maybe in the future you might want to like do events. Also, you need to be sure that later on down the line you're not going to change your mind, unless you don't mind losing 170 pounds or 200 pounds. Be sure that later on down the line you're not going to change your logo, and be honest with yourself. Is your name actually distinctive? Do you actually think it's going to get accepted? It is a bit ambiguous, I will admit, but only you will know. And be honest with yourself. I am not a legal professional, by the way. I'm not a professional in this intellectual property industry. I'm just speaking on my own experience. So always make sure you do your research. I am not in any way saying do it yourself. All I'm saying is that you can, and I did, and I managed to successfully. One of the most pressing questions, it is a question that I've received in my emails, in my DMs, and just conversations amongst friends and like-minded people. Is trademarking even worth it? I hear a lot, especially in the forums that I'm in, people will like type on a group and be like, should I trademark my brand? Should I copyright my brand? And a lot of the responses are something along the lines of, why would you trademark something that nobody knows about? And I mean, I hear it, but at the same time, it's like, protect what's yours. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I'm a big believer in start as you mean to go on. And to be honest, the last thing you want is somebody actually stealing your brand name. I've heard stories of people that have gone ahead and registered somebody's brand name. So for example, the person would have been promoting their brand on Instagram or whatever and have not registered it. Somebody registers their brand and their logo for a trademark under them, and then this is really cruel. They will turn around and charge that person whatever it is they want to charge in order for them to claim the rights back to that trademark. So that's not me trying to scare you guys, but I'm just saying some people in this world can be super weird. If you've got the money, I don't see why not. Like I said, I'm not a professional in this. This was just based on my experience, and I had a great experience doing it. Yeah. I really hope that this video has been helpful, has shed a light into registering your trademark. I know this is something that a lot of people do start to look into when they're beginning to get serious about their brand, and I just wanted to give you guys like an unfiltered, honest perspective as to my experience in this trademarking malarkey. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and please subscribe to my channel. I upload twice weekly, and I will catch you guys in my very next video. Bye. Bridesmaid dresses, track jackets, track pants, modeling agency services.